Detail CPH Tips and Tricks. In this video, we will give you tips on application on ingrain wallpaper, which we are often asked about. For this, Kabric is the best suited product, as it is not nearly as heavy as KC14, and therefore you won't risk the wallpaper detaching itself from the wall. We apply 3 layers to assure the structure of the wallpaper is properly covered. In this video, we distribute Kabric using a paint roller. Make sure to roll the product onto small areas at a time and get plenty of Kabric on the roller so the product doesn't begin to set before you get to it with your filling knife. In other words, it's important to work wet in wet, which can be difficult on larger areas. If you have an area where the product starts drying, you should work your way across that area to hide the transition. The first layer is, however, mostly about creating a good foundation for the second layer. But the first layer is also good practice, as you can make mistakes and still fix them in time. When you have an uneven foundation, such as ingrain wallpaper, you have to apply thicker layers than you would normally. The thickness of the layers can be controlled with the angle of the filling knife. If you hold your filling knife at a 90-degree angle to the wall, you will apply too little product. If you, on the other hand, hold the filling knife parallel to the wall, your layer will be thicker and cover better. The first layer is now done. Be aware of drying times, as they can be longer because of the uneven foundation and therefore uneven layer. The wall is now dry, and the worst irregularities are sanded off before we begin with the next layer. Here the same principles apply as for the first layer. You should primarily focus on making another even and covering layer, so you will have a good foundation for the third layer, where we will be creating the nice finish. We have now made it to the third layer, and as we can see, the structure of the wallpaper is already fairly covered. Therefore, we can now focus on giving our surface the finish we're going for. It's a good idea to work in different directions and to combine long and short movements across the surface. A trick is to always start your movement in a dry area, so you won't place your filling knife onto a wet surface and end up making an unfortunate line. You can work with your surface until you're satisfied, but be aware that spot applications will be visible. A non-100% covering layer can present as a great raw look, but be consistent in your technique so it doesn't look like a mistake. The thinner the layer you apply, the livelier the finish you will get. If you pull a thin layer across a line from the filling knife, you will create a darker line which creates life and movement in your wall. If you're 100% sure that your wallpaper is thoroughly attached to your wall, you can apply KC14 as well.